So, Des, do you know who made the Wanamaker Trophy and what company they ran and what notable trophy was created by that same company?
I have no idea of any trophy makers in the world, but I do actually have a guess on what other trophy they made. Just because the Wanamaker is so iconically like chrome and silver, I'm gonna go the Stanley Cup.
I think that's a very good guess because they have very similar features,
That's what I was
but
thinking.
not true. The same company years later ended up manufacturing the Heisman Trophy, which I think is pretty cool. So originally, the company started by Rodman Wanamaker, who created the Wanamaker Trophy, but later it was manufactured by the same New York company, Ageless and Clust. Fun fact.
Okay, so Colin Morikawa just needs to win a Heisman so he can drop that on the floor. Perfect.
A local municipal golf course says it's been overrun by what some are calling, quote, hack golfers.
Has the game grown too much? Do we need more scratch golfers?
I'm telling you, hacks slow the game down. You can't grow golf if people are chunking it into the weeds all day.
Scratch player?
Hey, everybody, it's Des, and welcome back to the Hack and Scratch podcast, episode number 16. Excited to be back. A lot has happened in our lives. Casey, you're a new father. It's exciting, but we're going to keep the focus on golf today.
That's fair. I think my mind is kind of all over the place, so I'm going to try my best to stay on topic.
That's a perfect place to talk about golf in. I feel like we're all over the place anyways. All right, let's get into it. The past weekend was a busy one. We had events from everywhere, it seemed like, from Live, from PGA, alternative PGA events. We got to see a breakthrough performance with a newcomer at Quail Hollow. We got to see some really cool storylines develop on the alternative event at Myrtle Beach. But we got to start with the lead one. Chris Wrighton, as he wants to be called, captured his first PGA Tour win in pretty dramatic fashion at a very famous place, Quail Hollow, firing a final round 969 to finish 15 under and 2 strokes ahead of none other than Ricky Fowler and Nikolai Højgaard. Pretty amazing stuff. I'll do a little segue here. Do you know the 3 billionaires to ever win a PGA Tour event?
Should I know that he's a billionaire? I had no idea.
It would be Tiger Woods is one, Chris Wrighton,
Really?
and Maverick McNeely.
Wow.
Yes.
You know what's so funny is math popped into my head there. Yeah.
Those are the only 3 billionaires to ever win a PGA Tour event.
Okay. That's amazing. Also, I was going to call him Christopher Rattan. So
Nice.
I'm glad that you corrected me on that. Where does his money come from?
So his grandfather owns about a $9 billion entity in Norway. They own a ton of stuff. So he will inherit a part of that $9 billion.
Well, and he just walked away with what, about 4 million? So that's just a drop in the bucket.
It's so funny. It's crazy. I mean, we always talk about, obviously, maybe the downside of golf is that it is such an exclusive game to some, and money does get you to a certain place. And it probably is the only sport where 2, billionaire heirs have won at the highest level of competition.
That's just so crazy to me. For like the amount of money that you can earn in golf through tournaments, but outside even the sponsorships, coming in as a billionaire kind of feels like you have a leg up. I know you probably don't, but it just feels like you do.
It is crazy.
It's funny because I just watched that episode of Full Swing with Matt McNeely, who he is an awesome dude. I want to hang out with him. He just seems like so much fun, really nice guy. And I want to go fly in his Cirrus with him.
Yeah, you guys have that in common, both pilots. That would be amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it just being a billionaire, golfer, pilot, that's the dream life right there.
Yeah, and named Maverick.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, back to the golf. Wrighton finishes that off and secures that $4 million check that we just talked about, signature event, all the things that come with it. Pretty crazy his steps to get in there. So, I can't remember it all off the top of my head, but he only got into like 3 events ago because Cantlay dropped out. He then finished there, and that got him into the Aon Swing 5, and that got him to the first signature event. And then he got him into the second one because he did so well. And then, finally got him into this one, which he won. Pretty incredible, run up of how he's qualified for these last events.
Yeah. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that alternative ways to get into a tournament are so important? That's why I'm always such an advocate for Monday qualifying. You shouldn't need to jump through a crazy amount of hoops if you can beat the guys who are playing, and if there's a narrower path like the Aeon Swing 5 or qualifying through winning another tournament, like you should be able to do that. So it's really cool to see somebody take advantage of that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a unique part of the sport too, which is so cool. Well, we can't talk about storylines without capturing one that's always near and dear to our hearts. Anytime we see Ricky Fowler's name at the top of the leaderboard, pretty incredible. Has a T2, comes in a great form in the PGA. I'm kind of pulling for him this week, but yeah, pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. It just seemed like he was pretty comfortable out there. He didn't have any kind of crazy blow up holes, just seemed like he was moving through the course at his own pace. So yeah, I'm pulling for him too. It'd be great to see him do well in the PGA this week.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you think of Alex Fitzpatrick's round this week? Someone made a joke that, Matt might be the second best Fitzpatrick in the field this week, and they were right. Alex absolutely played some golf throughout the week and almost pulled it off in the end, but I think it was at 15 that got him, but pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah, and same thing I was saying before. Alternative ways to get to larger tournaments, it makes sense. There were probably a lot of haters after the Zurich Classic that were like, "Oh, he didn't really earn it. He didn't deserve it." I'm like, "Oh, really? Because he just got a top 10 in a signature event. So don't give me that." But really cool to see him continuing to play well and earning his spot even more on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. I kind of laughed to myself. I was like, man, what a moment. Two DP World Tour guys dapping it up over a signature PGA event, and one of them walked away with it in the final group.
Incredible.
It's crazy. That's awesome. I love it. And yeah, it was overall a great tournament. But, a lot of focus, I feel like, at least on the social media side this week, was on the one flight, Myrtle Beach. For a number of reasons, but pretty interesting ultimate winner of it being Brandt Snedeker at a tender age of 45.
Yeah, and I think we talked about him a couple of weeks ago. I forget which tournament it was, but he was knocking on the door at one of those tournaments as well. And it's just a reminder that the guys that are 45 years old can still come and beat you up. We saw it with Phil with the PGA, 4 years ago? Just Justin Rose still in peak form. Like, it's pretty awesome. But what I loved about this was that this was his first win in almost 8 years. 8 years is a long time for somebody who has won a few times already on the PGA Tour. And so that ability to still be dedicated to want to go out and win, just super respectable. And he did win on Mother's Day, which I guess his mom passed away a few years ago as well. So probably very special for him to get that win.
Pretty amazing. It's the thing that fires me up about golf a ton, which is that, you don't have to be at your physical peak age to play some of the best golf you've ever done. It's a sport that you get to play for your entire life. And I feel like there's so few of those available. And so just another reminder you can play some of your best golf at 45 years old and probably even further down the line if you're a hack like me. So it's fantastic. Yeah, we have a couple other things to touch on as well. Brooks Koepka, ball striking the hell out of it. Showed really great stuff over the weekend. I think he shot like a 64 or 5 on Saturday and had an incredible showing. Seems like he's coming into form again for the continuation of major season.
Yeah, and we'd love to see it. We know that when he came back, he kind of had a rocky start, but clearly he is getting more comfortable and feels like he can compete. So I'm pulling for him. I'd like to see him play well, and I think these alternate events are great ways for the guys who are kind of still either working their way back or working their way up to show off, when there's not a Scotty Scheffler in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of taking advantage of the moment, a golfer that continues to do good that I said would be the breakout star of the season. Maybe not quite breakout star, but he is always making some splashes. Blades Brown comes in with a top 10 for the Myrtle Beach 18-year-old amateur who's just, poised for some really great things to come.
Yeah, it's so funny to see these kids play such incredible golf because you just know that we're going to see them on the PGA Tour soon. It's not a matter of if, but when. They're only going to get better. They're only going to learn how to play in those high stress environments. And the earlier, the better. Look at Tiger Woods, the guys that play early and can put themselves into position when they're younger get used to that sort of pressure. So really cool.
Absolutely. The last golfer I'll talk about in Myrtle Beach, we were just talking about the other week because of how he qualified, which was through a YouTube series called The Q, and he beat the likes of Grant Horvat and George Bryan and Luke Kwan. To qualify, it's Ryan Ruffles, who is no stranger to tour events, albeit, is not a completely just YouTube golfer. He was a great professional golfer at one point, and proved it this week believe it or not, on Friday at one point he was tied for the lead, which
Wow.
is unbelievable actually when you think about it. I mean, a lot of people said, this guy shouldn't even be in the tournament. YouTube doesn't belong here. Guy competed, played his butt off, ultimately slid a little bit over the weekend, but fantastic. Made a cut at this, PGA event. So, to all the haters of YouTube, kind of took an L this weekend, which was really cool to see kind of all the YouTube golf community rally around.
Yeah, definitely. And if he never gets an actual Ruffles sponsorship, I'm going to be very disappointed.
That is true. I think for right now, it's Malbon and something else, but he needs to start working in Frito-Lay.
Yeah, you got to get some of the bigger guns in there.
Yeah, there's a movie quote. I don't know if you know it, but it's "How is this profitable for Frito-Lay?" That needs to be a meme for Ryan Ruffles.
Yeah, that's
That's
perfect.
gotta be good. Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue. Oh, man, I couldn't have planned this segue even any better. But as we go along talking about YouTube golf and what went down this week, we have a lot of good content coming up from Bob Does Sports. But first, we have a segment that I growingly love and just the hilarity of it. But it's Grant Horvat's Breaking Bob. And this week, they had a pretty ridiculous one. When I first heard about it, I was like, okay, this probably is competitive. But then I found out that Bob could literally throw his ball into the hazard and it
Yes.
counted as a penalty. And I was just, at that point, I was like, okay, well, from the moment it started, I was like, there's zero chance Bob loses this.
Yeah.
So, and likewise, biggest margin of victory he's ever had on one of these and easily walked away with it. No claps, nothing like that. But what did you think of it?
I mean, I loved it. I thought it was a great idea. But yeah, once I realized too, I'm like, there's water on almost every hole that these guys are playing. Like, there's just no chance. I think I would also just get frustrated hitting a good shot, like as Grant, like there are some where he just hit it to like 10 feet or whatever. And Bob just picks it up and tosses it in the lake. It's hilarious to see. But early on, I was like, I don't see a world where Bob doesn't walk away winning this.
Yeah, agreed.
I think my favorite part of it, though, was like, I think on the first or second hole where he threw the ball and the groundskeeper was like, what are these guys doing? and that's what Grant was commenting on. It's just fun. I love that sort of stuff. I just thought it was an interesting idea. Yeah.
What a great week for Bob. Not only does he beat Grant in the Breaking Bob, but he also takes down a stroke play event, albeit with handicaps, against FP and Joey. Pretty incredible golf from Bob this week.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, it was more of a Bob versus FP at a certain point, but
Very early on.
Yeah. But yeah, the dude is getting better at golf. I'll say that. And I hope that he continues whatever it is that he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all jokes aside, there is zero doubt in my body that Bob is a better golfer straight up than Joey right, at this point.
Oh yeah.
Joey's for sure third. Bob is better. Sure, he'll have a blow up, but oh my gosh, Joe's game is so bad right now. It's real rough.
Yeah, and I think I was up with the baby watching this one. I think I texted you. And so there were moments where I had to look away, but every time I looked back, Joey would be in just some crazy position off the tee. What is happening here? So that, you can't take it home with that type of play, fortunately.
For sure. Well, one of your favorites, TaylorMade, put out a series this week. One of their challenges. The only thing I realized about it is I hate how they use AI generated people for their thumbnails. Like, why would they do that? They don't have to do that.
It's so weird.
But they use heavily AI generated and maybe not even good models to generate their thumbnails, which bothers me for some reason. But other than that, how was the actual play, the 8 irons?
Well, first of all, I totally agree. I think the art department had a layoff recently or something, and they're just using Claude to generate stuff. Uh, was strange, but I liked this little. They started doing these a while ago, of just little challenges between players, and so this one was Scotty versus Rory. It was an 8-iron match. You do like 3 shots from, I think it was 170, three from 150, and three from 130 or something like that. Um, which was really fun to watch because it forces them to make swings that they wouldn't normally make. When they're 130 in, Gotti and Rory are basically hitting a flop shot with an 8-iron and just slinging it from way left to right to land on the green. It's just fun to watch. Like, I love watching these guys play the type of golf that we're not going to get to see on a day-to-day basis. So I don't know. They're short clips. They're just fun entertainment, more relaxed.
The thing I noticed about playing it is just, yes, when the golf is limited or constricted or the rules change, the creativity of shots that these guys have is so incredible. And it makes me think like maybe that's another way to like make TGL different, is create some of
Mhm.
these gimmicky kind of things where you have to be very creative in the shot shaping and technique. And I know they tried to do that a little bit with like the one hole that was like a stinger, but I think, yeah, you could play some insane shot shapes, some crazy dog legs that you wouldn't see. And I think that would be really fun. Um, and it's obviously, exaggerated with seeing the ball get to curve, real time on the screen. I think it'd be really awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be cool too. I think another thing they could do, I've seen a lot of those videos of guys where they go put like a table out on the driving range and put like a wine bottle. They try to hit it. Like
Mhm.
target practice type stuff for playoffs or to in between holes of TGL would be kind of cool. Of like
Yeah.
just target practice and how precise these guys can be would
Well,
be
we are
fun.
getting one of my favorite TV shows of all time back that was very famous for setting up little things like that, which is The Big Break. The Big Break is coming
What?
back. Yes.
No way.
So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, can't wait to see what it has.
Wow, I did not know that, but I am also very excited about that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Last one we'll talk about. Ooh, is a rough watch. And for all those who are interested in Bryson this week at the PGA, rough. I know it's a YouTube
Mm.
video and all that, but it's hard to deny. He tried to break another public course record and did not do it.
No, and you kind of knew early on, like, this isn't going well. And I love Bryson, but I think halfway through this, you should have just been like, oh, let's try this again another day. We don't need to upload this video
You know what's so
personally.
funny? I feel like normal YouTube creators 9 out of 10 times would probably can it and you'd never see the light of day. But I feel like he might have such limited time to do these things
Yeah.
that he's like, no, this is the one. This is
Yeah. Well, he
I gotta
mentioned
post
that it
it.
was the PGA next week. So
Yeah,
it's like we know that he filmed it in the past week or two.
sure.
So yeah. But no, he just did not have his game. He was missing a lot of really short putts. And you know what? I hate to say it, the mustache was a little
Yeah.
odd for me. That was new from Bryson.
I'm like, this is, complete outsider looking in and making assumptions, but I feel like he's spiraling a little bit. Just, I really do. He's kind of reverting back to the old Bryson a little bit. We talked about him, losing his PR team. I'm starting to get a slight bit worried. If he misses the cut this PGA, we might see vintage Bryson just
Yeah.
losing his mind everywhere. For all our sakes, I hope he makes the cut this week.
Yeah. Same.
Well, that's good. That's another transition right into what we're talking about, which is the PGA Championship at Aronimink. And we haven't been here since 2018, which is kind of crazy to say. Back then, Keegan Bradley won, but it's an incredible course. Tipped out, I think it's going to play at like 7,300 around there this week. I think it's what they said. Comparable courses, which is kind of funny given last week. Comparative courses would be like a Quail Hollow, maybe a Caves Valley, even East Lake would be a pretty decent comp as a course. So, a course that demands a pretty complete game, but by no means is, not possible to overpower and just play some solid golf and get around. I think for most of the holes, they tend to be probably straighter than the average PGA Tour course. So, driving accuracy is important, but you're not really having to choose multiple shapes and doesn't really require that much of a creative golfer off the tee this week. So yeah, as far as key stats that really show up here, looking at, we just talked about driving distance and accuracy really do help. It can be a little bit of a driver putter course. I think making sure you avoid key bogeys. There's only about 4 holes that play above par on average. So making sure that you avoid bogeys at all cost, and then obviously get some lower scores on those par fives. But yeah, it should be a great test this week. I'm excited to see it. Who do you like this week?
Yeah, one thing I'll say too is that I also realize it's a par 70, which we don't see that often. So with a par 70 and 7,300 yards almost, like that's still got some legs. So some of the guys that can get a little bit more off the tee, I think are going to have the advantage as well. But yeah, you know what? This was my pick earlier, but I'm gonna pick him anyway, even though there was some news coming out that Rory was having some foot pain and had to leave the course today. I don't think it's going to be too serious, but we'll see. But I like Rory for this. He was still playing well. He's coming off the Masters still. I mean, maybe is Rory thinking now, how many majors can I get, by the end of my career? And every one is now a milestone in the same way that any one that Tiger plays in, he's hoping to get one more. So I like Rory. We were talking about earlier, Ricky Fowler. I mean, he played some great golf at Quail Hollow, and I would love to see him pull it off. And I know it's probably more of that's what I want versus what I expect, but he's definitely figured something out so far this season. That's really good finishes. So I like him there. And then lastly, Shane Lowry. He's just kind of always on my list of guys that are going to do well, especially in the major championships. He can stay calm in those positions. He knows how to handle the pressure. And I think his game just suits well for this course. So those are my 3.
Nice. I like those. I too thought about Fowler, but I'll go with who I picked instead. My top dog was Scotty this week. I'm going to try to find a good bet lineup matchup between Scotty and Rory. I think he's got the edge this week, and just coming off of 3 straight runner-up finishes, his game is as solid as it can be. He just hasn't gotten it done past 3 rounds. But yeah, I think he's very primed to do well here this week, and I can't see any reason, looking at kind of the course bias and things like that, that would keep him from doing well. So I'm going to put Scotty in there. I'm also going to play someone who I hate playing, which is Patrick Cantlay, but his golf is just so consistent right now that if he just pops on one area of his game, if he just has that magical week where he's gaining, 2 or 3 strokes on putting, he'll be right in contention. The bad part is he has very few top 5 finishes at majors, which is tough. But his game is really solid right now, and I think he plays from a place of confidence, and when he can, he does well. So hopefully he'll do well this week. And this last one's kind of a little bit of a wild card. By no means he's an amazing golfer, but just seems to pop at the right moments. He does, every year get like a top 5 in a major, and it just seemingly comes out of nowhere. But I'm going to go Victor Hovland.
Nice.
And so we'll see how those 3 do, but those are my 3 picks for this week.
I like those 2. I think something that's always so interesting about Patrick Cantlay's game is that he's been a top 10 ranked player forever. But we don't see him. He has not won any majors yet, correct? Yeah. Like that's just shocking to me. I don't know.
And really hasn't been in contention, which is crazy. Like other than that Masters in 19 and a couple, like he hasn't really been up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of interesting to see a player to be that highly ranked for that long, but not being able to pull it off. I would love for him too. Fun fact, him and I actually played on the same soccer team growing up as kids. So I think it's pretty funny. Yeah.
That is crazy. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. He is a SoCal kid. And yeah, it's funny. My wife was his brother's youth minister. So
oh, wow.
We were around the Cantlays for a little bit. You know what's funny? The inside there is that he does really get nervous around his family when they come to tournaments. So like there's been multiple years where he's asked them to stay home from the Masters and things like that. So there's clearly some mental thing there a little bit. So maybe that's just the recipe for not being able to get it done in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't talk about the PGA without talking about one of your favorite golfers of all time. Had one of the most legendary stories.
So I'm hoping you're talking about Mr. John Daly. Where's my golf ball?
That's
It's
right.
it's back here. It's back here somewhere. John Daly gave me his golf ball at the 2002 Nissan Open, I think. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, we talked about this a little while ago, where he got into the PGA as the ninth alternate, which a lot of things have to go wrong for
Yeah.
you to
You
be
might
the
have to tell
ninth
somebody.
alternate. Yeah, exactly. There was some payments under the table getting
Yeah.
him into that tournament, and then he drives all night, pulls it off, and ends up winning his first and only major, I believe. But just what a cool story. It's the classic like 90s, you're
Honestly,
grinding
should
in
be
to
a
get in.
movie. Should be a movie.
I think Apple TV could pick that up very quickly, and it would be, I think they could create like a comedy out of it. It would be
I don't
perfect.
know if his son could act, but he would fit the part, look the part. It'd be perfect.
Love that. Yeah.
All right, let's go pitch it. We got a quick one on the Pro Shop drop this week. You can run us through it.
Yeah, this one, it's nothing crazy. I just have been noticing things like this more recently of very small kind of gift boxes that go along with either tees or balls or some other sort of like golf accessory. So this one was a Bridgestone kind of ode to Tiger Woods nostalgia from, I don't think it was Quail Hall. I can't remember which tournament actually, but it's basically like his walk it in capsule. Comes with socks and a couple other little trinkets, all in an effort for you to go buy Bridgestone's golf ball, which is funny because I think people often get confused. Like, why does Tiger Woods play Bridgestone golf? I'm like, I don't know. They got him to sign a contract at the right time.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like this, which I think is kind of cool. Sunday Red did the same type of thing to like bring back nostalgic colors for Tiger Woods' LA Open shirt, his first PGA tournament. I'm just seeing a lot of people do this more often now, which I think is cool. Some of it's a little more low level. Maybe this one is kind of on that side, but it's kind of fun to go down memory lane with some of these products.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the resurgence of kind of the I don't know, the 90s to early 2000s golf kind of aesthetic resurgence we've talked about. I don't want them to overdo it. I feel like especially Sunday Red obviously is milking it for everything they can, but yeah, there is a point where it becomes too saturated. I think it was cool when a few people were doing it and a few companies, but yeah, I just don't want to see it blown out of proportion. But I am interested. It brings up a good question: is after we get through these '90s and in 2000s, what's going to be the next resurgence of golf? Are we going way back? Are we all going to be wearing?
Argyle socks.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, cool capsule. And I'm sure there'll be more things to come. I'm surprised there wasn't a ton of things around the PGA this year, like limited drops. But again, Aronimink isn't quite the iconic, course that some of the other PGA venues are. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, it could. I think it is a missed opportunity. I just saw on Instagram earlier today, they posted about like the PGA Champions dinner, and it just looks so much different than like the Masters
Sure.
Champions dinner. There's only like a few guys there for sure. But what a missed opportunity for the PGA of America to create some sort of like timeless artwork piece or whatever, especially with all the live stuff going on. Just kind of saying, hey, here's why we're the greatest, I think that would have been a good idea for them to try and push out some cool products around this time, but not
Sure.
really seeing it.
Absolutely. Well, there's a couple storylines to the PGA this week, but none would be more magical if Spieth could get into the mix come Sunday. That would be heavily talked about if that were a possibility. But it brings up a good question to come up with, which is who do you think is going to be the next player to complete the career Grand Slam now that Rory has done it?
It is kind of the next question because I know who we're all probably thinking, but there are a few guys out there that can still do it. And there's a new generation of golfers who could get started rather quickly. So yeah, we're going to just pick some guys back and forth.
Yeah, so let's do a draft. We're going to draft who we think is the next player to complete the career Grand Slam. We'll just go back and forth. You can lead us off.
Okay, lucky me, because I know we don't have too many guys to choose from at the moment, but I do think the first person to get it next is going to be Scotty Scheffler.
That's a pretty easy first pick. If you went anywhere else, I probably would have made fun of you. But yes, that would be, and he'll have an opportunity this year. That'll be pretty amazing. Can't disagree with that. The next one I'm going to go, where we start to get into the realm of, okay, you could go other ways, but I'm going to go John Rahm. still needs a couple to do it. There are people that need fewer, but he still needs a couple. And I just think his game is capable. It's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a golfer around for a very long time. I look at him and I don't see much like physical issues that could really go wrong. Like honestly, Scotty, sometimes just with the kind of swing and the follow through that he has, you just never know if that's gonna lead to long term issues. So, but I think Rom's game's gonna be here for a while, and it's good enough to get it done for sure. So I'm gonna go Rom.
I think that's a great pick. I was thinking of that as well. I'm going to be more hopeful here, like we were just talking, and I'll say Jordan Spieth. I think he still has a long way to go in his career. And if the PGA is the only thing that he needs, it's a little bit better chance than most. So I would go Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's probably where I would have gone. This next group is a real cluster. You could go either way. It's a crazy one. I'm probably wrong on this, but I'm actually going to go Brooks. I know he still needs probably two of the hardest ones. Well, at least one of them, Masters and the Open, but he's been very close at the Masters before. His game suits doing well at the Masters. And if he can refine his form, and I think he wants to right now, I think he's dangerous. So I'll put Brooks next.
I think that's a good one too. I was going to go that next after this one. I'm choosing Colin Morikawa. He's won the PGA. He's won the Open. He's been in the mix at the Masters most years recently. I would love to see him be a part of the Masters. So really, it's the Masters and the U.S. Open, which the U.S. Open is a hard one to get, And I know that sounds silly saying that about any of them, but if that's the one that he's got left, it's still an uphill battle. But I think he can do it. He's young enough. He has the talent, and I would love to see it.
I'm going to take his counterpart in this, which is Xander. Also needs to. And so I'm going to take Xander. And I do think it's a little bit of a stretch to say he gets it done, but has the game, has the top finishes. I think he could get it done. All right, let's push it. Let's do one more round. I'm curious where you go with this.
Yeah, I had thought of a few different ways, and this person only has one major championship, but I think they have the ability to win all four. Hideki Matsuyama.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't think Hideki Matsuyama can get the career Grand Slam?
Not the way he was playing this last week, looking up at the skies, wondering what has golf done wrong to me. That was crazy to see.
That's
Hideki
true. That was pretty funny.
Mind.
Yeah,
like he's just so calm, cool, and collected. It was funny.
Yeah, no, it's so funny too because he is always the first one to let go of his golf club, and then 5 seconds later he's 2 feet from the hole.
For sure.
Yeah, no, he has a tie for second at the U.S. Open. He's got a 4th place, 6th place. Masters, he's won, obviously.
I think having the Masters won already is a huge advantage. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. All right, who's your last one?
Well, you could have gone Bryson. You could have gone Ludwig.
Yeah.
But me, I'm going Miles freaking Russell.
Wow.
Miles Russell to win career Grand Slam after all the people we've talked about have probably quit golf. Miles Russell.
I feel like every time I hear about this kid, he's younger than he was before. I was like, oh my God.
He's Benjamin Buttoning.
He's Benjamin Button.
That's right.
I think that's a great pick, though. I mean, he's got 50 years. I don't know.
The way they talk about this kid, like professionals, the way professionals talk about this kid is there's something completely special and different and just locked in. And so I'm really excited eventually when he takes, his talents to the PGA Tour, and it's only a matter of years. But I'm going to take a big swing and go Miles Russell.
I think that's a great pick. Is he in college now or not even in college yet?
He'll be in college next year.
Do you know where he's playing?
He signed, or maybe it's not this year, but yeah, he did. Man, it's either, you look it up, see where he's headed.
He committed to Florida State University. Great choice.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, the dude is 17 years old. That's incredible.
Damn, so he'll be there with Charlie then.
That's where Charlie's going?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy. What a team.
That team is going to be...
That might be the most talked about collegiate team ever.
That's pretty impressive. In 2024, he made 4 starts in professional tournaments. 2024, he's 17 now. He would have been 15 years old. Good God. I was trying to get bogey golf when I was 15.
Yeah. So he's built
Very cool.
different. I'm excited. That's where I'll put my last and final pick.
That's a great pick.
All right. Well, we are going to move on. There is nothing, I think we can all agree, there is nothing better than a golf trip. And there is nothing better than a golf trip that is international. So today, I'm going to have you blind rank the best countries to do a golf trip in.
Okay. I like this. I will say I'm not super educated in a lot of the courses, but I can understand the regions.
It's kind of a feel thing. It's a culture thing. So that's where we're going to go off today.
All right, let's do it.
There's 8 of them.
Okay.
All right. First one, we're going to baseline you a golf trip around the USA.
Dang, that's so hard because there's so many incredible courses. I'm going to say 3. There's just so many great courses to play.
That's a fantastic. You'd be kidding yourself if you put it past 5.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go with 3. Next one is Australia.
Also really good. I think we also don't realize how many golfers come from Australia, how many top tier professional golfers.
By number of golf courses, I believe it's 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. It's going to be up there for me too. I'm going to say 4.
Okay, cool. Nice. Norway.
That's got to be just beautiful. I feel like one of the Norway courses was the ones I can never win in Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2003. If it's anything like what I saw on those, probably be very, very beautiful. I don't know why we're doing like down below, like one by one, but I'll put 5.
Okay. Norway's pretty cool. If you play in July, you can play as late as like midnight in like broad daylight.
That's the dream. Do they stay open that late?
I don't know. I know there are some courses that you're allowed to play like as late as you want, but I think just like most courses, they do close down, even though it's still bright out. It's pretty crazy. Next one is Ireland.
I'm hoping you include another country, so I'm going to put Ireland at 2.
Oh, okay, good. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. You're going to have some tough choices here. The next one's going to be Japan.
Shoot. Japan would be pretty awesome. Have you been to Japan?
Yes. Not to play golf, but they are actually, I messed up. They're number 2 in the amount of courses that they have.
Okay.
I think it's USA, Japan, then Australia.
I could see that. And you said there's 8. Dang. So I'm going to put that at 6 because I think that's my highest one other than my number 1. Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Next one. England.
Dude, I messed this whole thing
list.
up.
What a hard list. I know.
I messed this up. I don't know what you're going to say for the last 2, but I feel like 1 is going to have to be number 1. I don't believe this, but this is my choice in this blind ranking is 7.
Okay. This next one, China.
You know, I actually knew somebody growing up playing junior golf who would go to China to visit family and play. And he always said it was the best golf that he's ever played. I don't know what that means, but I know that they have incredible courses. Yeah. And I'm going to put it down at the bottom, number 8.
Yeah. You got to go there. All right. Yeah. You did at least one thing right about this draft. Last one is Scotland.
Thank goodness. Because if that is anywhere other than number 1, that's a problem.
Nice. Okay. Well, you had a little rough middle section there, but you ultimately got some great ones up at the top. Only one I really, truly disagree with is Japan. I think it would be incredible to golf in Japan. Yeah. That's definitely on my top of my list for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to do a golf trip anywhere to any international country would be pretty awesome. Agreed. Which I know you and I have tossed around the idea. So yeah, we'll see.
Hey, we have tickets. If we want them, we have tickets to 2027 St. Andrews, the Open. I mean, it does not get better than that.
It does not. That is the top tier right there.
Yeah. So I'm excited. All right. This next game, why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah. So I was going through a lot of fun. So I was watching the Bryson DeChambeau video and somebody, I forget exactly what the comment said, but the general gist of it was there are so many sponsorships in this one video. Like there are cutaways to like different drinks or different whatever. And, you see it with Bob to Sports, with Prize Picks and all this, which like, of course, like makes sense. But so I was thinking like, what would I want my sponsor to be? Right. Sure. And so I think we should make our pitches for what we want, who we want to sponsor us for our golfing career. or this career that we have built within the world of golf, and why. So why don't you start us off? Who are you picking that you want to sponsor you? You will be the spokesperson for all their products. You will use them all the time. You will speak and read an ad about them before the start of every episode.
Man, I think the coolest sponsor would be McLaren. I wish McLaren got into
Oh my God. I thought I believed you for a second there. Goodness.
cheap shot that I couldn't not take.
Man.
Honestly, though, all jokes aside, when they were jumping into golf, I did think that was one of the coolest adjacent companies to do it. And I thought that'd be amazing. So far, not a great start, but, long time to go. So, well, my joke was either going to be McLaren or Blackstone. I ended up not going either of those.
Nice.
Now, I have to preface this. I am actually not joking on this one, but I am stealing one from you. And it feels more of your pick than mine, but I really would love it. I wish Anthropic would jump into the golf space.
Wow.
So, for those who don't know, Anthropic is a company that is focused on AI development, and they specifically have a user interface called Claude. So, you guys might have heard of Claude before. And I just think there is a lot to be done with a partnership with an AI technology company and the space. We talk about it on the show so much, how much of all this stuff is data and analytics and things like that, and how you track and how you train and all the things and tools that are available to use. I think it only makes sense that, and you kind of saw it a little bit with like IBM Watson, and they jumped in as a big sponsor
Yeah.
for the space. I think some of these newer, kind of younger technology brands could do the same. So I'm going to throw one out of left field here, and I'm going to go Anthropic. And give me that Claude Polo. I'd be rocking it on the course for sure.
There you go.
And
My
Happy
only
Scratch
concern.
podcast. I mean, brought to you by Anthropic. I mean that.
Yeah,
I would
that
love
sounds
to see
great.
that. Yes.
That sounds awesome, but I hope that I don't get replaced then. If that's your ultimate goal, is to replace me with the Claude AI.
No,
So
you already are.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, that's a good one. And I feel like we are going to see those partnerships and integrations, probably with something like a TrackMan or a Foresight or whatever.
Sure.
So that's a good one. It's out there, but I think it's the future. So very cool.
All right, where'd you go?
So I had trouble kind of picking one. I think you know about my obsession
Don't tell
with
me you picked
Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm not going to pick Wilson because I know that I'm going to get that sponsorship one day. So
Yes.
I just know. But I kind of went a similar route as you. I love technology. And if I were to pick an already established golf company to partner with somebody like a Claude or whoever, I would pick TrackMan. I think they have been the most kind of successful launch monitor brand. Top Tracer and all that, those are great. But I love using a TrackMan when I went and took lessons at these places, and I would love for them to build me a simulator here in my garage. I just think it's going to be those companies that are going to pull some of that technology, that AI investment in, and I would love to see where that goes. So if I could get all the TrackMan equipment, get one to take with me on the range, they are very expensive and I cannot afford it. So if they want to throw me one, I would be very grateful.
Yeah,
I'm a software engineer, so I can help them out. I
That's
can
right.
give them my feedback. So I'm a good candidate for it.
I can't deny that's a good pick. I also think like, man, I've tried out a ton of simulators before. I've done Foresight, I've done GSR, I've done TrackMan, I've done Full Swing. TrackMan's like way above everyone. Like in my
Yep.
true opinion, like way accuracy, all data, all that stuff. TrackMan, for some reason, like this should be pretty simple from a technology standpoint, right? There shouldn't be that gap in performance that there is, but there is.
There is.
For someone doing it to do it so well, yeah, a pretty amazing partner, and that'd be a great sponsor to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Well, good. Hopefully we get those. We're going to close out today with a pretty popular game that we play, which is Truth or Bad Lie. And obviously the PGA Championship is famous for being the only tournament to allow caddies to use rangefinders on. So I was going to test you to see if you know what caddies can and can't do in a game of Truth or Bad Lie.
All right, let's try it.
All right. Can a caddy can stand behind a player when they are taking their stance.
I think that's true. I feel like I've seen images of guys like standing up to their putt and their caddy behind them. I
It
think you
is
can
mixed.
take your stance, but you can't address the ball.
It is mixed angles when you see that because they are not allowed to stand directly behind the player when they're taking their stance. So when they
Dang,
go in to
okay.
take their stance, they have to move out of the direct line behind them because, for your point, it helps them gain an idea of alignment.
Makes sense. All right, so I didn't get that one.
All right, here we go. A caddy can enter the bunker prior to a player's shot.
I'm going to say no. That seems kind of weird.
This is true. They can.
Really?
Only thing that they can't do, and this is a full honor system, is they can't test the sand. So they can't reach down and grab the sand. They can't even dig their feet in. They're allowed to get a line of sight and see it from the bunker, but they are not allowed to test the sand.
Wow. I did not know that. I feel like you're kind of testing the sand by walking into it,
It's a
though.
weird one, right? It's a
Yeah.
weird one. All right. A caddy can tell another caddy what club they're hitting.
I'm 99% sure that they cannot do that. I don't
That is-
think players are supposed to be communicating any sort of club selection.
That is a bad lie. Now, the truth of it is they all do it. So
Really?
the symbols for it are your stock is a 7. So if a caddy is having their player hit it a 9, they'll go like this. They'll just put 2 down from 7, and that'll tell the other caddy that they're hitting a 9.
Fascinating. That's tricky.
Yes. So they all have hand signals, and it's pretty well known, but they are not allowed to tell each other what club they're hitting.
Why would they want to tell another caddy, though?
I don't know, but they do. It's talked about all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. A caddy can take a player's club and demonstrate the proper swing away from the ball.
No, that sounds ridiculous.
It's actually true. They're totally allowed
Oh
to do
my
this.
God, really?
As long as it's not over the ball and you're showing them the alignment, they're totally fine to do that. So they're able to take it and show the pace and show everything that they would do as long as it's not over the.
Then your caddy better be a good golfer as well.
I don't know if
That's-
anyone's ever done this, but
Yeah.
yes.
You imagine Steve Williams being like, hey, maybe you should try this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're going to keep going. A caddy can flatten out any imperfections on the green only in the player's line.
I'm going to say yes.
This is false. This is the only thing they can't do. They can move impediments, they can move loose stuff, but they cannot flatten or stamp anything out, including pitch
Okay, so
marks. and
only the
anything.
player can do that.
Only the player can do it.
Dang. I am a rule follower, so
This is
I want
incredible.
people
I
to
feel like I
know.
did a fantastic job for coming up with these questions. All right, here we go. A caddy may hold an umbrella over the player while the player makes a stroke.
I'm going to say no.
You cannot do that. You have to, and
Yeah.
you see it all the time. They hold it till the very last second, and then they take it away. You
Yeah.
cannot, yes, while the player's taking a stroke, you cannot impact the elements.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, good. You're 1 for 7. No, I'm just kidding. All right, last one. Here we go. A caddy may place a tee on the ground to show the player the line of play, but then remove it before the stroke.
I think my strategy should be do the opposite of what my instinct is for this round. So I'm going to say yes, they can do it.
No, they cannot do it. It'd be a ridiculous thing to see someone place a tee down and say hit it over that tee.
Oh my God.
Casey,
Yeah.
that was not your best game, but man, did that make for some good entertainment.
Well, I'm glad. I think this is my first sleep deprivation
I was
dad
gonna
brain
say,
going on here.
This is a
Yeah.
direct result from having a kid this week.
Man, well, that's funny. Dang, you did a good job kind of faking me out there. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, hopefully all the caddies on the PGA this week know all those rules and abide by them.
Hope so.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining and see you next time.
That was great.